Hello everyone and welcome to this video, and today I'm going to be doing a vinyl update video. So this is going to be, I always say this at the start of these, quite a long video, but yeah, especially long today I think. It was the start of October was when I last did one of these, so I've picked up a fair bit since then. So yeah, I'll just be trying to rattle through as much of it as I can today. But anyway, I'm going to just start off with a DVD which I got. It's a recent release. It is Oasis live at Nebworth here. Now this, I didn't actually know that when I got this. I thought it was just like the one disc, but it is a 3-disc version. So you get a documentary, which I must say I was a bit disappointed in. It was very much, it was just a lot of kind of interviews with fans and stuff from the time. And yeah, I just didn't really, I just didn't really connect with it all that much really. I thought if they'd had a bit more involvement with the band and that, it might have been a bit better. But it was more about the actual event kind of thing. But then you do get the 2 concerts, so they played 2 nights there. You get both nights in full there, so that's pretty cool. And again, this was only cheap. This was about I think like £10 or £15 for this. So I thought that was a decent price, and it came out on vinyl, but I never bothered to pick that up. I just thought the DVD would be alright for me. We then also got a reissue from Paul Weller, the Days of Speed album. Now he put this one out and Illumination out as his recent reissues. I've already got a original I got for Illumination, but this is one I didn't have, so I picked this one up. This is a fantastic live album. It's all acoustic, basically, just Paul Weller solo, which is not something you hear every day kind of thing. So this is quite a unique live album for him. So yeah, Days of Speed, fantastic stuff. And yeah, really glad to see it reissued. Another recent reissue came from this album here. It's by Trash Can Sinatra's, a little bit of a less well-known name, but they are really good. They're a Scottish band, around the late 80s, early 90s. This is I believe their second album, and it's from 1993. This one here, it's called I've Seen Everything, and this, it's been out of print for many years. But yeah, finally reissued on vinyl. I believe it came out in a myriad of different sort of coloured vinyl versions. I've got a clear one, but I've seen red ones and blue ones floating about as well. So yeah, great to see this one reissued as well. Another reissue what came out since my last update video was from this album. It is the Charlatans self-titled album. I believe this is their 4th album. Came out in 1994, and this is great. Again, great to see this reissue because originals are quite difficult to get. It's a double vinyl reissue. I'm not sure if the original one was on 2 vinyls or not. But yeah, it is a great record though. Contains some stuff more popular songs, things like Just Looking, Crashing In, Just When You're Thinking Things Over. So yeah, a lot of great stuff here. I got this one at a CC Records in Edinburgh, and the same time I got that, and I just picked this album up for a real sort of bargain price. So it's Scott Walker, Until the Band Comes In. I paid £8 for it there, so at that price I couldn't pass it up. I do quite like Scott Walker, especially kind of this sort of era, this was the album just after he done sort of 4 self-titled albums, which are fantastic, and then this one, I think he went, and then I think he got back together with the Walker Brothers after this. But yeah, this is still a fairly decent album. There's a couple of slightly dodgy tracks I got side too, but most of all, most things I got here are pretty good. So yeah, that's Till the Band Comes In by Scott Walker. Next 2 now were bought in a record fair. Must say, wasn't the biggest record fair, and sometimes you just come out with sometimes you have no luck at these sort of events. And this is kind of one of those cases. I only got 2 singles, neither of which I particularly needed at all. But I picked up this Tom Petty one. So this is You Got Lucky. It's always quite fun to see Tom Petty stuff because he's never sold particularly well in the UK, and you don't see them too often. So yeah, this is You Got Lucky from the Long After Dark album. And this Paul McCartney single, which again, I didn't really need it, but I suppose I do collect McCartney's singles. So this is Mary Had a Little Lamb here, the Wings single. Certainly not his finest work, like by any means, but yeah, quite nice to see it in the original picture sleeve, which you don't see too often. But this must be, I think, a foreign pressing because it's on Odeon Records, and it's got like a sort of like pop out like hole there on it. So yeah, it's backed with Little Woman Love there. So yeah, that's Wings and Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, and then from a couple of charity shops now, like again, I said like in like my last video, I've started like if like there's a decent one, like usually Oxfam's the best, like sort of like for like records. Like if I do ever pass one, I will sort of go in and like have like a little like mooch about. Sometimes you come out with absolutely nothing. Most of the time you come out with nothing. Sometimes you do come out with some great stuff, and this was like a case where I did come out with a couple of good things. So I got the single, so this is The Cure and the Love Cats here, and yeah, again, I'm not a big collector like of the Cure singles, but when I see it, I couldn't leave this behind. I had to pick it up. So this is from 1983, and it's got the song Speak My Language on the B-side. So yeah, that's a nice one there by The Cure. And then also seen this album as well, which is by a band called Rain Parade. Now these are part of like the kind of like the Paisley Underground kind of scene, like off like the early 80s. They've got like probably like their most well-known album is called Emergency Third Rail Power Trip. That's great. I've done a review of it. Fantastic album, but this is one I assumed like when I seen it that it was the kind of follow-up album, like what they made like to that, which isn't considered like quite as good. But I actually discovered this is a live album, and it does actually feature like some of the songs like from like that like Emergency Third Rail Power Trip, and then some other tracks like which I'm not familiar with either. So yeah, this is Rain Parade, and this was as I said, a live album recorded in Tokyo in 1984 here. Next one up now is by Graham Gouldman. So I did actually go and see Graham Gouldman in concert that wasn't last month. It was back in like October. So that's only I think a few weeks after like the last update. Bit of like a spontaneous one because I'd just seen Field Music at like that same venue. It was in St Luke's in Glasgow, and then like my dad was like looking at like posters, and we see that Graham Gouldman like was playing, of course former member like of 10cc. So we went along to see him, and it was pretty good. It was more of like a stripped back sort of like acoustic show. He did a lot of different songs, a couple of 10cc ones, mostly kind of solo stuff and songs he'd written like for other artists. So kind of motivated by that, I did pick up this which was his last studio album. It's called Modesty Forbids. It was out in 2020, I believe, and it's a lovely cover, fantastic cover there, and yeah, like I've got my ticket from the concert, and I also managed to pick up the set list as well because we were right like at the front too. So yeah, like I mean, like a good album. Like, it's not gonna like change your life or anything, but like a solid record though. And yeah, great to see him like in concert as well. Okay, now we've got a couple of Discogs purchases now. I did kind of catch like the Discogs bug like over like the last couple of months, so I've got quite a few like ones to show like from that site. So this was one which I was looking for because I've been really getting into this band lately. You will be seeing a fair number like off like their records like as like we go on. But yeah, it's this Prefab Sprouts singles. This is Lions in My Own Garden, Exit Someone. And this was I believe their debut single, and I love the song, and it's not on their debut album, it's not even on Spotify, this song, so I kind of had to sort of try and get this single. So like I was kind of like on like the lookout for it, and yeah, like very glad I seen it. So this is actually a bit of like it's like a 4-track EP. So you get the title track, song called Walk On, The Devil Has All the Best Tunes, and Radio Love on here like as well. So like yeah, like 4 tracks, just like a 12-inch single, the debut release from Prefab Sprout. Now I don't believe I've ever shown like anything from this band, but this was part of like the same order. It was kind of one, I guess, to kind of just sort of bulk up the order, so I wasn't kind of sort of paying like sort of like so that essentially like the order wasn't just all postage, you know, that like they're actually getting like some extra records in there like as well. So I got this one. It's by Bare Naked Ladies. He's a Canadian band, and it's on Brian Wilson. Now my dad is a big fan of these, and I do remember this song like from like my kind of childhood. I love the song, think it's fantastic, and yeah, it just brings back like some nice memories there. So that was more of a kind of like a nostalgic one, like again just on a 12-inch single there. And I said in the last update video, and also again that my top albums like off like the year roundup, I've been getting really into like this band, the Chills. So this again came as part of that order. So this is their second album called Submarine Bells here. And again, this is a little bit rarer to find, and as I said, it was just a coincidence that like the seller was also selling this. The seller like off like that Prefab Sprout one that was also selling this. Like otherwise, I probably like wouldn't like have like picked this up. But this is a great record though. I probably prefer this a bit to Kaleidoscope World, even though that is like I guess a kind of compilation like off like early singles. This one definitely a more kind of cohesive like sort of album here from 1990. This one came out, so yeah, nice. Nice to get a lovely original pressing of that one. And then from a different Discogs order now, I picked up another few items here. So I got this single. It's a Beautiful South one. It's for the song Bell Bottom Tear. And this is quite a nice copy of it because it's got the postcards in with it as well, which I always like. So you get four postcards there. Included, which is really cool, and again it's a fantastic song, so yeah, just had to get that one. I'm kind of keen to get all of like their singles, and then I've got this one by the Colourfield, so sort of Terry Hall's kind of band in the 80s, like after Fun Boy 3 and the Specials. This is Things Could Be Beautiful. Again, this is a standalone single, so it's not on either of their albums, but it possibly is my favourite song of theirs, like I would say. It's a fantastic tune, and yeah, but again, it done nothing chart-wise like at the time. And again, from that same order, I got these two, which were like the main purchases like from that order, trying to complete my XTC 12-inch single collection. So I caught a copy of Wake Up here. So this is from the Big Express album. Lovely artwork on it there. And you just get some live tracks and whatnot on the B-side. And then this one, which is This World Over, again, another single from the Big Express album. On the B-side is Blue Overall. So yeah, nice to get those two. Again, gets me that a little bit closer to completing my XTC collection. Okay, and now from yet another different Discogs order, I got another few items. Again, they're all kind of singles and sort of 12-inch singles, 7-inch singles. Again, kind of just sort of filling in like odds and ends like from various artists, like off like things like I collect. So I got another XTC one. So this is for all you pretty girls. I've already got this one on 12-inch, but this was nice to get on 7-inch because it's sort of like a die-cut kind of cover, which is really cool. Like XTC did this a lot with their singles. They'd sort of packaged them like really nicely. And on the back of this, you've got the song Wash Away on here. So yeah, that's another great single by XTC. Okay, and now I've got another one by the Beautiful South. So that's this is One Last Love Song. I believe this was the last single they put out on a 7-inch. I could be wrong, but might be Rotterdam actually. Like I'm sure I've got that somewhere. Right, but certainly this was like one of like the last ones they released like on vinyl. They went to kind of CD singles like after that. So this is from 1994, and again a fantastic song and like lovely artwork there as well. So had to get that one. And again, from the same order now, I got a New Order single. So this is for The Perfect Kiss here. Quite sort of plain, slightly dull artwork there, but a great mix of the song. This is like this 12-inch mix is, yeah, probably like the ultimate version like of the song New Order with kind of Kings like off like the extended mix there. So I had to get that one. I also got this Kate Bush one here. So this is for Hounds of Love. Again, I've fallen in love with the Hounds of Love album. I'm keen to get all the singles from it. Like so, yeah, like this is like a nice one to pick up. Hounds of Love there on a 12-inch. And this one also came in the same order. I've shown this one I ranked the House Martin singles, but I got what's this one called? Like there's always something there to remind me. It's my least favourite House Martin single. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the song personally, but very much they're just to sort of complete the collection. Okay, and now I've got some items from various Manchester record shops. So me and my girlfriend managed to go down, and we went to see. Well, it was actually going to see Paul Heaton like in concert. So because we had tickets for a unplugged like concert, which was fantastic. He was like, yeah, like absolutely brilliant, and I managed to like meet him like afterwards as well, like, which was really nice. So I'll pop in like a little picture like off that now. But yeah, before the concert, we managed to get to a couple of record shops. So these ones are from the centre, like off Manchester. This one's actually from a charity shop again, funnily enough. It's a Terry Hall CD. So again, go back to like the colour field. But this is a kind of general compilation of various bands he's been in. So you've got specials tracks, Funboy 3, Colourfield, and then a couple of solo tracks on here as well. So quite a sort of nice sort of varied track listed there, just sort of like a career retrospective. Again, now this is another one of those Paisley Underground bands off like the early 80s kind of psychedelic revival kind of thing. This is the Dream Syndicate. Again, this is my first album off theirs. I knew off the name. It was a bit of a blind by this. I knew the name. I knew they were part of that scene, but I didn't really know if they were any good. But I love this album. This is called Out of the Grey. It's a little bit later. It's from 1986. I believe this is their second or third album. And yeah, this was really great. Nice artwork there. There's a fancy sleeve. There's a sort of like lyrics on the other side there. So yeah, this was a great album. And again, a real steal. I think this was only £10 I paid for this one. And then from that same shop, I got this, which is Paul McCartney, Où le Soleil. Again, as I said, I'm completing like my Paul McCartney singles collection. This is one of like the last pieces I got off like the jigsaw. It's certainly not his finest single. It's I would say one of his worst, to be honest. And it is just that song. Like there's no exclusive B-side here. But yeah, if I'm to be complete, I've got to have this one as well. So that's kind of why I picked that one up. Paul McCartney. Okay, now I'm actually just looking at like my pile now, and I'm thinking I'm gonna split this video like into two. So I'm gonna sort of finish like with the stuff what I did get like while I was down in Manchester, and then maybe a couple of days later, like I'll upload like another update just with like the remaining things. Otherwise, I think this is gonna be like far too long like for anyone to watch like in one go. So I've just got a couple of things. These are from X Records in Bolton, a fantastic shop. Like yeah, I always come out with some great things, and like this occasion like was no exception to that. So I got again a couple of singles here. So I got this XTC one. This is for the song Take This Town. Now this is a bit of a I won't say like a rarity or anything, but it's a song which isn't on an XTC album. It was from a film called Times Square. So this was released to kind of promote that film, and because on the B side it's The Ruts doing Babylon's Burning. But yeah, like XTC, like the main one for me, and like again, as I said, a song like which is quite hard to come by, like this track. Because yeah, it wasn't on like any album, like, or it's not even on like a compilation like off like their early singles, I don't think. So yeah, had to get that one. And then I got this single by ABBA again. I've been kind of maybe over like last year, so I've been kind of getting sort of back into ABBA again. And this is a single I don't think I'm going to collect like the singles like or anything, but I got this one mostly for the B-sides. This is One of Us. It's from the last album, The Visitors. And I got this one because it's got an exclusive B-side called Should I Laugh or Cry, which I love that song. I think it's fantastic, and it should have easily been on the Visitors album. I think they could have made that a 10-track album quite easily. Because yeah, it is just a brilliant song, and like unfortunately, yeah, it's just kind of stashed away like as a like B-side there. And then I got this one as well. Again, another beautiful South one, and this goes quite nicely with that bell bottom tier one I showed earlier. So this is for 36D here. Again, not one of my favourite songs off theirs, but I kind of just had to get this one again, like as a bit of like a collector's item, because again, you've got more postcards with it, so that's really cool. It's still in its shrink wrap too, so it's in lovely condition. And yeah, so this is from the 0898 album. So yeah, that's a beautiful South there. Okay, I also picked up this single as well from that shop. It's the Talking Heads, and Road to Nowhere, one of my favourite songs of theirs. Yeah, like absolutely like classic track. And yeah, it's from the Little Creatures album, so it's got lovely artwork on it, and yeah, just a nice one to pick up, quite a cheap find there. Another New Order single. So this is for the song Round and Round. This is from the Technique album, an album which has really grown on me maybe over the last year or so. I maybe used to always kind of dismiss it as, oh, they went a bit too dancey for me, but just it is more dance orientated than things like Power, Corruption and Live. But I really like it. I think it's a very, very strong album there, and this is one of the best tracks from it. So that's Round and Round there. And then I also picked this up And then I also picked this up. This is from Sam Fender. This is an EP he made in 2018. It's called Dead Boys, and yeah, like he had my album of the year for last year. Fantastic record, 17 going under. But this one, like I said, I believe this came out before his debut album, like maybe like a couple of months before. But yeah, it is a like a good little like EP here. There's some great tracks. One of my one of the first songs I heard of Sam Fender's was Pound Shop Kardashians, which I really like, and like that's like I guess sort of like got me into him like a little bit. So yeah, it's got a download card with it as well, and just some nice artwork too. It's not on a coloured vinyl, I don't think, no. But yeah, like a nice release there. Okay, and then also from the same shop, I picked up this one. So this is by Tom Verlaine. So he's a former singer in Television, kind of like New York, kind of like new wave punk sort of band. And this is his solo album, came out in 1979. I believe it's his first solo album, because I'm pretty sure Television released an album like this very same year. So I'm not sure like if they, again, I'm not sure like all about the history, like if they split up and he went solo, or if this was more off a side project. But what makes this album quite notable is it's got a song called Kingdom Come on it, which David Bowie covered on Scary Monster Super Creeps. One of my favourite songs from that album. Only kind of like it was maybe about like a year or so after hearing the album that I realised that it was a cover. And like of course it was, as I said, it was Tom Verlaine like he'd done like the original. And this is a fairly good album. I mean, there's a couple of dodgy tracks. I really don't like the track Yonky Time. That's a bit rotten. But I mean the rest of it is like fairly good. And you just got a nice like inner sleeve there as well. So that's Tom Verlaine. Okay, and then last one for this video, because as I said, I think it's probably best that I kind of like split this video up, otherwise it'll be like obscenely long. But it is this album which I'm seen by Kate Bush. So this is The Sensual World here. So this was the follow-up to Hounds of Love, which as I said was my kind of like entry point to kind of Kate Bush's like career, and like I like adore that album. So I thought I would give this one a try. I was lucky enough to see a nice original pressing of it there for £15, which was like as I later discovered like a real bargain for it. Like always Kate Bush stuff, like it is it sold well, but it always seems to command a fairly high price tag for like original like issues like off them. But like this one, like I said, that was quite a decent price for it there. And that's like on the back. But I really enjoyed this album. Maybe not quite as good as Hounds of Love, but certainly a very kind of similar sort of album, like in terms of production and sort of the kind of sound of it, like is very similar. So I think like if anyone's like a fan of that album, this is like an obvious one to go to next. So yeah, that's Kate Bush and The Sensual World. Okay, so that's me done with this part of the vinyl update. So I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time for the next one. Goodbye.
Nothing else.